as the poster boy of Carbon,
Ackerman's claim to fame is...
I'm the poster boy for Carbon. When Carbon needs to close a deal with a bigger firm, they call me in to sell it. And what do I tell them when these firms talk with me? I'm like, we couldn't live without Carbon. It saves us so much time.
Because Carbon is the collaborative practice management platform for accounting firms. It brings your team, clients, systems, and data together in one place, significantly improving visibility, efficiency, connectivity, no matter where your people are located. See, the thing about this is I have the power to really talk about the ad because I love the product. They're the backbone of our firm. If you look at Carbon's logo,
they're the heart of the house.
Not the heart. No, Practice Ignition is the heart. Carbon is the skeleton of our firm. If you look at their logo, it's black with white on
What's
top.
What's the dick?
It looks like a skeleton. What's the dick? You are the dick of the firm. Carbon is the backbone. We, it's like, I don't know.
Did this
you
just
could talk
get
to my
explicit?
operation. I don't know. Like, this is an explicit ad, but honestly, Carbon fits that though. They have their logo looks like explicit content. Parental advisory. Like when you look at that black and white and you see that black and white color scheme, you think Carbon. I mean, do I love branding? Their branding is the best branding. And then if they throw in a little bit of pink like pop in there, that would take it over the edge. Like Carbon is killer Carbon.
Listen, I'm the poster boy.
Carbon
Call me the
pamphlets.
closer at Carbon.
The closer.
I close deals.
The closer at Carbon.
Now, do I get any money for that?
Closer
no.
with a K.
But when I go to San Francisco, they take me out to dinner. So in a way, I'm getting paid. Always be closing.
Getting paid, baby. And we got paid to read this. Getting paid by Carbon.
Yeah.
Carbon
HQ.com.
Thank you, everybody.
That's beautiful.
Melissa McCarthy, that bitch. See how much money she's made on my ideas? I came up with the boss. I came up with when she took her kid back to college. I had all. So here's what, mark my words. Stepsisters, that bitch is going to make money because Step Brothers was so funny. I love to solve a problem. Like, I feel like I'm an accounting cop. Like I'm doing, instead of blood spatter, I'm dealing with number splatter.
Now, this is a Melissa McCarthy movie right here.
Hello and welcome. We are all the sons and daughters of CPAs. Join us as we question the current state of the accounting and tax industry with the next generation of professionals leading this space. We are all the change agents in an industry fraught with money and inertia. Let's begin the Sons of CPAs with your hosts today. We got Jason Ackerman back from the hospital and Scott Serrano.
Sounds like it came from the mental hospital, which is kind of true, so we'll take it.
I have been in a mental hospital, but we will save that for another day.
That's awesome.
That's like one of those cliffhangers for next episode.
Maybe on next episode. Depends on my mood. That's cool.
So Ackerman, congratulations. Is that your last name?
Yes.
I love that because that's what people call me, Brolin, for the most part. So I love it.
Your team, Brolin. You have a whole team around.
And a whole team.
Yeah, that is. So
you've
dope.
got like jerseys. If we had a softball team with my team, we would lose by so much. Like it would actually be demoralizing. It would be the opposite of team building. It would be like team destroying. We do have two girls who actually played softball, so they would be good. But last time we did like a physical team outing, this lady legitimately broke her ankle. So we're doing Top Golf in 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens.
Someone dies. She probably shouldn't be invited.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna let her like hang out in the back with the food.
Yeah,
not let her go to the front with the golf clubs.
Well, hit her in the back of the head or something. So what about this? What do we got with this baby?
Yeah, just had a baby.
Tell us about this. Please check in. Like I haven't talked to you in a while.
He's in the NICU right now, so it's been a kind of a wild ride, but he's doing better. He's actually getting an MRI right now as we speak, but he's breathing on his own, which is big, and he's doing good. So he should come home in about a week or two, we're hoping, or 3.
Cool. What's his name?
Samuel.
So
we're calling him
Sammy. Yes, we're calling him Sammy, of course.
Sammy Ackerman. This is going to be the third generation Ackerman at BNA.
We had a baby shower for him like a month ago, and someone was like, he might be my boss one day. And I was like, for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations. Is this your first
baby?
Oh, buddy. Life is different. You want that baby to stay in that NICU as long as you can.
That's been the weird thing. That's been the weird thing is like it's like kind of we don't have a baby. Like we see him during the day, but then we're like check him to the hotel. So yeah, my sleep, Yvonne still has to get up and pump a little bit, but like I've been pretty normal, and we obviously want him to come home as soon as possible, but there's like in the back of your mind a little bit, you're like, he's getting $5,000 a day at the NICU. It's fine. Insurance covers it. It's good.
Don, how many children do you have?
I have 2 girls. They're 13 months apart. The first one I pushed for 8 hours and then ended up with a C-section because she was just.
See, that's the worst. I feel like you're pushing and then they do a C-section. That it was nice having the C-section planned.
32 hours for Juana. 32 hours.
Yeah,
she's a tiny person. She's a small person. We've tried to do the natural birth. So we were at a birthing center and tried for, I think on hour 23 is when we called the hospital. Oh, yeah, man,
that's crazy.
That was nuts.
Well, Don, where are you located?
I'm in Connecticut, Wyndham, Connecticut.
Okay, I thought so based on your accent.
My accent? I have an accent.
I knew you're from the Northeast. You just have that like personality.
Connecticut doesn't really have an accent. Like I don't want to say New England. Does it New England? Like, is that the accent that you give it?
No, it's more of the attitude than the accent. It's the "don't fuck with me" attitude, which I love.
That's exactly what it is. And
Don means business, though. Yeah.
I don't mess around. Like, listen, I will be your best friend, and I will take care of you. I will do whatever it takes to take care of you. You fuck with me once. You're dead. You're just dead.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's a loyalty thing, right? Because your clients, like they
on your board, loyalty shows up twice behind you. Well, I don't know if that's a subconscious thing, Ackerman, but I am stepping on you. So keep going.
No, this is normal. Scott says he's not going to talk, but he's literally going to talk the whole time. So just be prepared for that.
That's awesome.
Don's got a motor mouth too, though. Don, you talk for a living, don't you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, people like that go to the podcast, they actually listen. We're like, I'm at home. They don't listen. My family doesn't listen to me for crap. Like, they're not afraid of this attitude at all. They just like step on me. Not really, but it's all good. Yeah. We're, listen, the New England people do not mess with us. Just don't. It's just simple. We are the most loyal people, but you just cross that line one time and it's like, you're out of the nest.
I read this recently. The difference between nice and kind, right? People from the West Coast are nice, but people from the East Coast that we're talking about are kind because they don't bullshit you. Like nice is just, oh, this is great. Oh, good job. And you really mean, fuck this, like I'm running away. And then somebody else would just tell you how it is. It'll hurt in the moment, but it's kind because it's helping you grow.
Exactly.
So I think that no bullshit approach is best. Yeah.
Growers.
We don't have a lot of crops, but we're growers. Yeah.
That's right.
Do you find that your clients have the same attitude that you have?
I don't know. Some of them, not many, like a good handful, which I like the direct approach. Like, just tell me what's up. Like, if I jack something up or missed a deadline that you asked for something, and just like come right at me. Guess the first thing I want to do is make it right, because we're not, no one's perfect. So, we make mistakes, and then really at the end of the day, it's just getting it right for them and moving on. And then the ones, like you were saying, that are nice, the kind people can roll right over them. So I always try to be like a little bit more sensitive about that, and realize like the clients aren't going to be the way I am. My staff isn't going to be the way I am. Right. So, it's so funny. We have a meeting starting in January. We meet every Monday at 10. And so today was our first meeting of the year. And it was like, okay, so we're getting ready for 1099s, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, each of you reach out to your client directly, blah, blah, blah. And then if they are not responding to you, then you let Tracy know. And then if they're not responding to her, they bring in the hammer. And it just, that's how it works, around here. It's like, they know if the client hears from me, they know that they've not done something right.
So what do you do if a client continuously doesn't give you hold up their end of the bargain?
Yeah, we're firing them. I'm not being a babysitter. I already have 2 kids and a husband. I'm babysitting as much as I possibly can in that realm, right? So I don't want to say I'm demanding, but I'll only give you a handful of tries there. It's like I know if a person had a baby, for instance, we had a client who just had a baby. We know that he's kind of distracted. All right, we could deal with that, right? For periods of time, but not through the relationship entirely. You're not allowed to just flake out. And like I said to the team today, I'm like, listen, These people are business owners. They got to be big boys and big girls. Otherwise, go get a job. Like if you can't handle running your business, and we'll do the best we can to support.
Well, they'll get fired from a job. If they
And-
don't respond and they don't get the information they need to get, they're going to get fired there too. So you're almost like, the responsible adult here. We need your information. Give it to us. We just have somebody now. What if somebody paid you up front and they never got you their shit? Are you going to refund them when you finally don't? Yeah, this is what I'm dealing with right now. Like my management team, I said, you know what? Are we going to really refund them? He's asking for his money back. He's like, you guys haven't done anything and I'm not going to get it to you. And I'm just like, I don't know how to handle it. I might just keep $2,000 of it and give him the rest. Yeah.
Just so you have a PIA fee. Everyone should have it.
That's it.
It's like,
they're trying to attach it to some work, but the work was trying to get his shit for a whole year. Right.
Yeah. We had a client too. We did a really big job and he was 5 years worth of books that were done by someone else, but then the QBO file got deleted. Never heard of that before. There was just nothing. They had 4 entities, people being paid in the wrong states, like an absolute train wreck. Like, I can't believe that these people are in business, but whatever. So we like put people on it. And he sent us 20 boxes. It was an adult toy store, if you know what I mean.
Word.
And so he sent like 20 boxes of stuff. We found some pretty amazing things, between pills or pictures of blow up dolls, stuff like that. Really weird. Anyway, we got it all organized. We got him, and he's in an IRS criminal audit also. So, we're coming. I've got every I dotted T crossed. We've got every work paper for every transaction. Like, we went crazy. And it was about $160,000 we did in a year. But we had people just on that because I don't want this guy to go to jail. Well, he called up and he was just the nastiest person. He would send threatening emails, started sending threatening emails and calls and all this stuff. And I said, you're done. Your money is not important to me. But the way you treat me and my staff, that's more important to me. So you know what? You're all done. And that's so true. The money it's not always about the money. We have to make money, got to pay our people, got to pay for our family, get that. But I'm never going to be treated like that in a way that we were going above and beyond, working extra hours, just doing whatever it took to get him in a good place. And we're like just done.
Well, people are creatures of habit too. Sometimes they say they want to change and they give you all these promises the next year. I'm going to do everything different. And they fall into the same thing. And a lot of these people, you could figure this out early on too, and save yourself a lot of later headache and just do a better job of filtering them out of your process.
No doubt.
Like they won't be bothered to fill out your type form. And in my case, they're not going to be bothered to fill out anything later.
Exactly. Which is why, Scott, it's that's a great part of your processes. And I think that this is where a lot of people miss. Your processes are in place for a reason. Because if I send you a DocuSign form for you to give us initial information and you don't fill it out, exactly what you're saying, Scott, I already know if Tracy's had to call you 2 or 3 times, we are done. Like, this isn't going to work. And that's why those processes are in place, partially because we need to gather the information. But part of it is, can they fill out a DocuSign document? Okay, if they can't, they're not doing bookkeeping. I can tell you that right now. They don't have their papers in order. Like, they just don't have their shit together. So why do I want to party with that person? I don't,
Well, you might want to party with them if they're coming to you with a bunch of sex toys and pills. Like, you could go party with them. They're just not going to be a client.
Exactly.
You walked into that one.
What do you think is your most important process you have at the firm?
I think for us, in our tax process, I send quotes to every client. Every new client that comes in, they get a quote because I charge by the form. Like, I don't mess around. Right. It's like, here you go. This is your price. You don't like it? Sorry. So I love the fact that we send those quotes, which is also the engagement letter. So they're accepting the engagement and that at the same time. And then going from that point pushes an invoice right into QBO. So when I'm done with the return, I process it. We also collect payment information up front. We will not touch anyone's work without that. I'm not relying on the client when I send them an invoice for them to go pay for it. No, the deal is when I'm done with your return, I send you an 8879 and a copy of the invoice. And as soon as you initial that sucker, I'm processing payment. and then I'm filing your return after the payment's accepted. That's probably my favorite.
And you use
'cause it's
Practice
like-
Ignition?
I'm starting to look at that right now. I use Quotient, which is some
Quotient, yeah. I only heard of it because
overseas
of
product.
you on your but it's on your like we can talk about
Yeah.
that too. You have an
Yeah.
entire app stack publicized.
I do.
And that's really fucking cool.
Let's start with Dawn. Do our KPIs that we're going to ask everyone now.
Yeah.
So-
all
let's
right.
go.
So
Well,
first-
first, let's Dawn. Are you the daughter of a CPA?
I am not. I'm the granddaughter of an attorney.
Okay. Well, a licensed
We'll
professional.
take it.
We can
That's
change it.
close
Yeah.
enough.
Sons
best I
and
got.
daughters of licensed professionals is what we'll title this episode. Right? Sons and
There we
granddaughters
go.
of licensed
There you go.
professionals. Yeah. So to clear everything up, you are a CPA, right? You've written
Correct.
2 books.
Yes.
Oh,
You have
is
3
this
jerseys
our
with
first
your
published
name on it.
author?
Dawn is a legit published author. You have over 10,000 followers on Twitter. I don't know how many others and other platforms, but Dawn
All
is
over.
Dawn has a megaphone. Like she's a speaker.
Legit
before she's-
celebrity.
Like I think she's a legit speaker before
blue
she is
check.
a firm owner, but she's also, she's a blue check. That's what she is. Yeah, a blue silhouetted check. I love it. Dawn is verified. This is like the verified designated motivator here.
Oh my goodness. This sounds so fancy. I wonder when she's going to get here.
This is the nicest thing anyone's ever said to
We see
anybody.
her. And Dawn doesn't have a microphone either. So for all the listeners, like bear with us with the sound. It's not going to sound the greatest, but we have the greatest guest. This content's going to be great.
Oh, does my microphone suck?
No, it sounds fine. It's just
No, you're
echoey.
great. You're great.
So Mike McCallowitz said this to you on your episode was you want the audio to sound like you're all in the same room. It's obvious we're in different rooms. So
True.
Is it?
that's, me and Ackerman could possibly be in the same room, but let's just make it clear to the guest that we are in different rooms, right?
All right. Well, that's
Oh,
fine.
that sounds. Oh, you just came into our room now. Like, hi,
Okay.
Dawn.
Am I in the room now? What's up?
You're in the room. What's up is
Okay.
right. This is it. Yeah,
I
this
like
is
it.
the real thing. We can see
Okay,
you
now
in
we're-
real life, IRL. Oh wow, this is cool. Awesome. So where do
good.
we start? Like Ackerman, you're still gonna have to lead with the questions though.
I'd love to.
Oh,
Okay.
let's mute Scott. We can mute him, can't
I'd
we?
love
You can.
if
You
we could.
possibly
I wish
can.
we could
We've
send
done
him
it
a link
before.
with like a blow up doll from your sets toys. If we could have borrowed 2 of those blow up dolls and just had them on the screen, he could have talked.
Can
To
I just
them.
share a tweet that I had the other day? This might be relevant. So did you
A
know?
tweet that you
fun
had?
fact. I sent a tweet the other day. I'm poking my head around Twitter. That's why I know how many followers Dawn has. Like I want
That's
to
right.
pay attention to these things. Fun fact, on TikTok, accountant is more likely to refer to an OnlyFans creator than an actual accountant. Did you know that?
Oh, no.
On TikTok.
Interesting.
So an OnlyFans
Well-
creator, I mean, basically it's like the code, right? Accountant is the
Yeah.
code for sex worker nowadays.
That's totally true. And I wanted to start a TikTok at some point, but I mean, I'm only funny in the
Wait,
moment.
when you said
like,
it's totally true, like you know that because you've been on OnlyFans, or like you're just saying that to be nice to Scott?
I'm saying that to be nice or kind.
Okay,
I mean,
that's what I
kind.
thought.
That's not a kind thing. That's a nice thing to say. Kind would be, what the fuck are you talking about? This is a podcast about Dawn Brolin, not about sex workers. That would be
That's
the kind thing
right.
to say to me.
That's
Ackerman's very
okay.
kind. Yeah.
Yes, he
Ackerman's
is.
very kind.
He's on it.
This is amazing. I miss this. I really miss this. Thank
This
God.
is good stuff.
This
Oh.
is okay. So Don, how many people do you have at your firm?
3 plus me. 3
plus
Okay.
me.
plus me. So
You-
4
you're
people total.
You're a quartet.
We are a quartet. We're quadruplets or something.
But you
like
have
that.
but so when you say the 3, is it also your partners or is that your portion of the firm?
No partners.
Oh wow, okay. So
Did that
so this
twice.
is new. You did, yes,
Oh.
because the last time I heard you on a podcast, you actually had like 3 people you were working with as a collective almost. What happened with that?
Yeah, we just it worked out better. So they were more of a bookkeeping firm and
Okay.
data processing, data, transferring data from one app to another, that kind of stuff. And I'm, the CPA with the tax work and things like that. And so they wanted to kind of dip their toes in the tax world, but it just, in the tax world, there's certain ways you have to run your firm. Like some things are not optional because the person owns the license, not the firm, right? Of course, if you have a firm license, that's a whole different thing. But we're just talking a CPA who's doing the tax returns responsible for everything that happens with tax. And I think that just the difference in security wise and things like that, I'm just set in my ways and I'm not going to budge on it no matter what. So I think we didn't work well in the company together, but we are still recommending and referring back and forth. So if I get, a big bookkeeping job, I don't want to do it, I send it to them and they send me the tax referral. So it was a really good amicable separation and kind of breakup. It just made more sense for each of us to kind of run with what we did best. And so we still collaborate, but.
Yeah, but I got worried because you would be on there like defending it. And I'm just like, this doesn't sound like a good situation here. Like the way that you would talk about, we share this and this, but we all keep our billing separate. We all bill like our clients directly.
A different thing. Oh, that's different.
Do you still do that?
That's Anderson, Brolin, and Koba. So we do have a CPA firm with the three of us. This was a separate deal. So the three of us.
So explain this, defend this then, because I just
I will.
Talked it a little bit. Yeah.
You kind of trash coming at me, but I'm coming right back at you, Scott.
Yeah.
So so what happened was, back in 2011, April 1st, 2011, it was about 6 years, 3 months, and 4 hours that I was in a different partnership. And I walked away from that 6-year commitment. And I learned a lot I learned a lot from the other CPAs in the firm. And that part was good, but I also learned who I didn't want to be at the same time. So when I left that firm, one of my biggest things was I wanted to work remotely because I had 2 young kids at the time. They were younger. And I wanted to be able to do some remote work. And, 2011, it still wasn't popular. You needed to be in the office and blah, 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 whatever.
They call you a lifestyle, like a boutique.
Yes, exactly.
You want to have a lifestyle firm. Well, go off and do that. They're not going to promote that.
They're not going to participate in that. And so I said, bye-bye. And I knew so at that point I went on my own and I wanted to be able to prepare taxes. And a former coach of mine, actually, his brother's a CPA and we've known each other for a long time. And he said, well, listen, what if you help us with QuickBooks and technology and all this stuff? We'll help you with as far as, tax, if I have questions, whatever, bouncing off each other. So we joined it. We put a firm together, the three of us. We split the cost for tax prep software, the website,
the license. I like this stuff. Yeah, this is cool.
The insurance, all that we put into this firm, we all contribute it into it. And then we step away and we all share the listserv software. So let's just say I'm having trouble figuring out how to put, I just make it up, a disposal of a property, whatever it may be.
Well, you created your own little community of knowledge base and shared resources. And I love that. That's actually I wasn't even talking shit about it. I just wanted to hear about it. I didn't know you were not doing, you are still doing that, which I think
am still doing that.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it's
like for
it's
a group of firms, like a group of friends, they could all get together, share resources, because a lot of people don't see that as we're competitors, right? Like, people would see others in a lot of cases. Me growing up, that's what I heard when I talked to other firm owners. They don't want to share information. They don't want to share resources because everybody's a competitor if you're not working at my firm or at my place. Right. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. We just decided we wanted to have that collaboration and I just paid the bill for 2022 tax season upcoming. And it was like between each of us, it was around $4,000 a partner. Everybody just put their money in the kitty and we're up and running. And, I look at it that, hey, listen, maybe I can't do this tax return. Maybe I stumbled into something and I can send over to Lisa or Keith, say, hey, listen, I've never done whatever this may be. Can you guys help me out? They can jump into the return, finish it for me, even review it. If I'm like, you know what, can you just review this return? I feel like I might have missed something, whatever. And now we have that collaboration and we go back to on our own and I pay them if they help me with something. I pay them.
But that's important too, right? As far as relationships, some people will think they're getting taken advantage of if, one person is being the one-sidedness of that. And so to see that there's a monetary compensation because everybody's getting paid. We're all doing this for a living too. So it's like, I don't know.
It's like, I don't want their advice for free. That's not right. And so we figured out how it works. If it's a quick little question here and there, and we really just work real well together and everybody's on the same page and we're all, listen, if I want to work more, I get paid more. If I want to work less, I'll get paid less or whatever. But there's no burden on any one of us to watch each other's work or do any of that kind of stuff. It's like, we're just
and you're doing everything on a fixed fee. That's what you said. Like you're pricing things up front more or less because the services, and it's all comes down to compliance. I think at least with me, I don't know how you price everything, but it's easiest to price something that somebody has to do and then price it high enough that you can do the stuff that they want to do too. And then, you know, attach it to other products and other things. That makes it easier for you to manage everything you're doing, because, you know, if I want to do 10 returns, I know how much I'm getting paid for those. I know how much I'm going to make for that. You know, you can dive in and out of the work if you want. It's like seasonality for you. So
exactly. And it's like, you know, with the I love for the fixed fees, like my lowest tax return is $435. I had somebody come in, a new client, last week or the week before, right? For an individual return.
Come on. I thought you would do better than that.
Well,
Are you doing that return?
That's a W-2 in two states. That's it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Well, that's a piece of cake.
What's
your lowest?
$950.
Nice.
Ooh.
I don't. Yeah. As my dad says, we don't pick up our pencil for less than $950.
Nice. So, I like it.
We don't. Yeah, we don't have pencils. But I wish we did.
Well, it's a metaphorical pencil.
Okay. Well,
it's an Apple pencil.
I'm resigned to. It is an Apple pencil. I got a few extras. Anybody wants one? So we're just doing monthly engagements now. I don't even think I'm pricing individual returns on any way. It's just, you know, now it's like I see the light. We can work with clients on a much deeper level if we structure it as a year round, you know, so
that makes sense. So so this client that came in, she brought me, you know, they always have to give me the prior 2-3 year returns, depending on what they have. She brings it in. I take a look at the back of it, always look at the invoice. I mean, how do you not look at the invoice? I just am curious. How much pain am I going to infuse into this client in the next 5 minutes? And so I looked, the guy's invoice was $170. I'm like, what are you? And, you know, the package all stapled
together. It's a disservice.
It costs them $170 to just do the package.
Well, and you know why? Because they handwrite at the top. They have those packets where you write the name and the tax year at the top. I'm just like, so look, I told her, like,
we used to have that shit too. Like at my office, we had that shit. Then, but I don't know if we charged $170 for a return, but I know they used to be cheap. I know we used to do a lot of returns. Oof.
I mean, how many returns do you guys print?
So we don't even have a printer anymore. I don't have a printer or anything. Ackerman, I mean, do you print returns still? I bet you do.
You mean client copy?
Yeah,
I bet you do.
Yeah, I think we have 80 to 85% are digital, and then 15% are not digital.
I charge $100 for me to print your return.
There you go.
I love that. I want to establish that. We have a lot of like.
I mean, you have.
Get into us. Let's talk about Don.
You know, yeah. Let's talk about Don. Or we're talking about running a firm.
Yeah. Let's talk about Don. I want to know. So your 6-year partnership ended, and you said you learned some things from it. What did you learn from that 6-year partnership?
So definitely, I learned how to be a better tax preparer. Like, I mean, I was told I would never be a tax preparer. Like, I wasn't smart enough to do it. Right?
Oh my God, who told you that?
One of the
Ackerman,
partners.
you told me that. You tell me that shit all the time.
Well, you 100% should not be doing a tax return. That's a fact.
He still tells me that. See, he still tells me that shit. You won't let me do.
If you did your own tax return, you would go to jail.
Return.
Oh God,
you wouldn't even let me do the tax return for this.
I won't. I'd let someone on your team do it.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, like
I do my tax return too. Do you do your own tax return anymore, Don?
Oh yes.
Yeah, you probably do. Yeah,
I do. I got rental properties and I got all kinds of stuff going on. You know, I like to keep my hands on stuff. A little bit of control.
Boats too. Do you use your boat as a rental? Do you,
no. I do not.
Leave that shit out. Yeah.
I am not going to that gray area over there.
Leave that one for if you have a bathroom on there, that's a second home.
Gray. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. We just whiz off the side. We just drop trow and there you go.
50 Shades of Gray. 50 Shades of Gray. That's your next book, right?
Oh, like it's so good.
Remix of that. 50 Shades of Gray for accountants. That's Don's next one, right?
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. But
actually, it's a pretty good title, I think.
It is pretty good.
Pretty good title for a book.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So I learned that. Well, I learned a lot about myself in that I was like, okay, I know what kind of person I don't want to be. Like I knew right away, like being kind person and with a mixture of some nice is good, but mean and nasty wasn't like kind of an area I wanted to dive into. So I kind of stayed away from that little gem, but they did teach me a lot about how to run a firm. You know, I learned a lot from them on well, we used to have Monday meetings where we would spend 3 hours chasing accounts receivable. So I knew I was never going to do that again. Like literally take the freaking AR, usually 2 pages long, and highlight who's going to call which clients to get paid.
Wow.
And it's like, so that hence was my process of getting a payment authorization up front and never chasing money. Like that wasn't going to happen. I learned that I needed to lose weight. You did. I learned I had to lose weight.
Why did you learn that? Or how did you learn that?
Well,
you look like you've lost some weight.
I do. Thank you. Boy, was I fatter before? Goodness gracious.
This is awkward.
You can't say that to somebody without,
Jason.
you know, and I know you're kidding, but it's like on the cover of one of the books, you look like you lost weight since you took the picture of the cover of one of the books. I mean,
all right.
honest,
Good for me. I appreciate that, Scott. But yeah, so I was told I needed to lose some weight and to maybe get some new clothes and stuff like that, which is all totally fine. I still have one of the shirts though that I wore in a picture. I'll never forget. I still wear it every once in a while just because.
Wait. Someone told you like saying like you needed to look sexier, implying that, or like
no?
Why were they saying for your health?
I apparently looked sloppy in their eyes, which is fine. So things like that, like I just knew I would never.
That's a bias.
Say that stuff to other people.
People just have a bias, though, right?
Yeah.
Like
they wanted you to wear like they were wearing like suits every day, so you needed to wear like whatever the female equivalent of that is.
Yeah, which is not going to happen. Like I did actually put on leggings today. I didn't leave my sweatpants on. So this is a big dress up day for me. So, but that's all good. No, so it's just, you know, it's.
I'm wearing a hoodie.
You're wearing a hoodie.
So that was like an old. So it sounds like a very old school traditional. Boys club CPA firm.
Yeah.
Like, this is how we did it in 1965 when we used to wear top hats. So
yes.
I'm just going to carry it forward.
Correct.
Top hats and canes everywhere we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I think what I think is really important, like for people to understand is like, I was really, I was the one getting the clients, right? So I would do the volunteering at the local chamber and I would give QuickBooks lessons. I do an hour, like a lunch and learn. And then we get all these referrals of clients that would end up coming to the office. And so, but the fact that I wasn't in my seat all the time because I was out driving around 7 million miles to went back when we would go to businesses and do their books on site, things like that. And so I think like as a firm, you have to decide what you're willing to accept and what you're not, right? So like Nicole never comes to the office almost, I mean, maybe twice a year. She doesn't live far. She lives 20 minutes. Kyle mostly is here. He's here almost all the time. And it's like, if you can't accept having a remote worker because you don't know what they're doing, then don't have remote workers. But don't torture that remote worker because you aren't ready to accept that that's okay. And so I found that my position in that firm was to bring in the clients, not necessarily to be billable, but rather the advertising marketing person. And so I did all the QuickBooks stuff, and I could never really reach like $100,000 in billing because I was always volunteering. I was always doing, you know, things that weren't getting paid. And now I'm doing
you volunteering your time with clients too. Are you doing a lot of work with them and just not billing them for it sometimes? Like a quick question and
lots of quick questions, and you know, the phone would always ring for me. And that I think got annoying to people. And I guess like, I don't need to be in the forefront. I know you probably find that hard to believe, but I'm totally cool with being in the background and being the humper and getting my work done and just billing. I mean, I'm doing easily $350 myself a year now. But that was because the reins came off of me and I was able to go maximize my potential and that kind of stuff. So, you know,
you had a paradigm shift too, didn't you? A bit of a paradigm shift, and you can see what's possible in this world if you don't have restrictions, right?
Yes. And why would you want to restrict your partner when your partner can do amazing things?
Because your partner's not like you, right? If it's not like me, then it's not going to work because they're not doing the things I would do. And how could it work? And I'm successful, right? Like, I'm being sarcastic.
No, I got you. Yeah, no, it's so true. But I think that's it. Crazy. You learn from your experiences. And you know, I remember I would do a tax return and I would leave it on one of my partner's desks. And I would come in the next day and it would have an F on it. Like a big red pencil F.
Do they want to be a teacher?
And I was just like, you know, and I think I got better at returns faster because I had to go figure it out myself because they weren't necessarily going to tell me where the problem was. It was kind of like, you go figure it out. So it wasn't a bad strategy. I think
Yeah,
the F maybe is a little aggressive, but passive aggressive.
Was it in red pen too? It has to have been a red
pencil,
Sharpie.
red,
yeah. Oh
red.
God.
So those were some good things. I learned a lot from that perspective, and how a firm really works and that kind of stuff. But that was enough for me.
So Don, a lot of the stuff you do is centered around motivating people in the accounting industry. Can you care to elaborate on how that got started? Like, is it because you need motivation yourself too? And you kind of and I'm not, that is not joking. That's
no, sure.
Yeah. Like, that's why I do this podcast, is because this is the shit that I would want to hear. You know? So I'm sure that to a certain degree, you could relate to a lot of the stuff that you say from firsthand, right?
Well, and that's it. It's all, I wrote that book, Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals, because I saw the pain within the industry, firsthand. Obviously, 2020 was just a wicked year. It was just wicked. And a lot of people got discouraged. The accounting industry really was put under the pressure of something we'd never felt before. I mean, we thought tax season was awful. We've been complaining about tax season forever and how busy it is and working 18 hours a day. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. What are you guys doing? Right. And so I said, I just saw the pain in the other CPAs. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. This is insanity. The expectations that are upon us with the IRS, who's not responding for crap, but they have no problem sending out bills to people, but you call and they can't work with you. They can't process amended returns. So you have frustrated clients. You've got practitioners who are just trying to do their darndest to help the people. And I just watched that. And I said, guys, this doesn't have to be this bad. How come you guys aren't using the technology so that you don't have your butt in the seat for, we don't work 40 hours a week. We just don't, even when it's busy, because we just want to we're just productive. And how we did that was through implementation of various technologies and processes, which we talked a little bit about. And I said, I got to share this with everybody. I don't want, like you were saying earlier, Scott, a perfect comment about people don't want to be in competition with each other. I don't feel like I'm competing with anybody at all. You know why?
You're just competing with yourself.
I'm always competing with myself. Every day is a competition. When you're on Waze and you're driving and it says you're going to get there at 128 and you're like, hell no, I'm going to get there at 123.
127. That's what I get aggressive.
It's usually,
I love that you said that. My Twitter feed was so messed up with Waze stuff. I'm bringing Twitter back into the conversation. I didn't know it was posting to my Twitter. So I had about 800 tweets from Waze of where I was going and what I was doing. And Liz Mason told me about that. So I was like,
I love Liz.
That's crazy.
She's great.
So I went.
So you're the old man who signed up for Twitter.
Yes. That was about a year ago. If you see, but now I cleaned it up. I took some time to clean it up and now I don't think it's connected anymore. But that's funny.
So good. That's so good. But yeah, no, I mean, my whole thing was, I am a competition. everything is a competition. Absolutely everything is a competition. I did go to the Pats game yesterday. Hello, 50-3, give me a break or whatever. I think it was 50-3, whatever it ended up being. But the numbers got too high. We just couldn't keep adding more numbers onto those score.
Well, you're running laps, right? That's not fun anymore. You want it to be competitive. That's what a competition's all about, right?
Yes,
no fun.
Absolutely.
You don't want to just stomp all over your competition.
Well, sometimes, but
you gotta help them out, right? You gotta lend them a hand. And when I talk about that, if people do see other firms as competition, then at least let it be an even playing field, right? Share your knowledge. A lot of people keep their knowledge thought they should keep it as a secret. I don't think that's the common tongue these days. I think commonly people do like to share. Yeah. And I think social media has helped on that. People like you have helped on that. You share, so your app stack too, right? Everything
I give my pricing list out. My pricing list is on Brolin.com. Put in your email address. You'll get the pricing list with a little video explaining why I charge what I charge.
Listeners, if you're having trouble with pricing like I am, maybe you should do that.
Go grab that list. And for me, disengagement letters. I've got 2 disengagement letters up there because I just started this new community, so I'm launching this month. But most importantly is I put up there, a little new community for people to get in there. Let's start talking. Not a Facebook group. It's going to be an exclusive community. You can join at whatever level you want.
On Slack or Discord?
No, I'm not sure. That's Gainer's problem. She just tells me what to do.
I can talk to her about that. Yeah,
you talk to Gainer. She knows what she's doing.
2 cents. Yeah.
But it's a simple disengagement. Oh, we love Gainer. She's awesome.
Yeah. I call her the GM. Like you're the DM, you're the designated motivator.
I like
because
it.
The initials, Gainer Milky, I think she's a general manager. If you had
That's
a general
clever.
manager, she would be your general manager, right?
She would totally be. She's awesome. Yeah, she's done amazing things for the community too. You know, I give the content,
Yes.
but she puts it all together and launches it and gets it out there in the right way for people to be able to get to it. And it's, you know, I just see the pain in these, I say smaller firms. I'm sure larger firms have their own pain points are just going to be different than me. I'm a small firm. And it's like,
always
how
people.
do we help?
As big as you get, there's always people problems.
Oh,
Always.
I was up to 10 at one point and I said, oh my God, this is no. Like I need runners. I need people who are going to run with me. I cannot, just the babysitting annihilates my soul. My whole entire soul melts.
Well,
I don't mind teaching. I don't mind
I
teaching.
can relate to
and
you. I'm
helping.
at 10 right now. Yeah. I had to let 2 people go because they were not runners. Like, I don't want to say that out loud, but that's
No, I hear
ultimately,
you.
like, you know, that's what happened last year. It was tough.
And it's doesn't make them bad people. Has nothing to do with that. They're great
It's
people.
just how they're built. Yeah.
It's how they're built. And so, you know, I feel like I hired Nicole, who's on my team. I hired Nicole. She didn't have an accounting background, but she was the girl, I could see her work ethic. She wanted to learn. She just was ambitious about stuff. And I don't have to babysit her. And, you know, that's the key to Tracy. Tracy babysits me. Like that's her role. Right. So she makes sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. And then I'm, you know, if I don't answer an email and somebody's called her, she puts it in my calendar. Say, hey, you got to answer this email. She and I work real well together. We communicate really well because this is another key thing for, if you got a VA, or if you don't, you're going to get one. One of the key things with the VA is they are the ones client facing, right? So if she's asking me to do
Wait, really?
something.
Your virtual assistant is the client facing person too? Wow.
She talks to new client lead. I don't
employee
talk to anybody.
or even like just a contractor.
She's an employee.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And, you know, with her, it's like she's asking me to get something done because somebody's calling her numerous times because I'm not doing something. That doesn't make her look good. So I really try to be conscious when she says, hey, did you get to this yet? And of course, I want to say, no, I'm doing 70 other freaking things. Leave me alone. Right.
Yeah.
But really, yeah. I learned that she wasn't doing it to bug me. She was doing it because she promised something to someone. And if I didn't deliver, that makes her look bad. And I was like, I can't have that. So, and I think that sometimes we don't realize, you know, like Nicole will ask me a question, whatever, and it'll take me 2 days to get back to her or a week. Now I'm holding her up. And then I'm like, why didn't that get done? Well, because I needed this from you and you didn't get it. It makes sense. And so sometimes I think we think that somebody's like on us about something, and it's not really because they're trying to criticize you or get all over you. They just need it done so that they can maybe move on with whatever they're doing. We just need to think about that with our people.
I think we all rise and fall on other people's expectations too.
Mm-hmm.
And just to point out, like everything's trailing down to what does this person expect of me? And if you lay out the expectations clearly in the beginning, then you don't fall into the trap of he said, she said this, and I didn't do this because they were supposed to do it. Right. And they, it's all kinds of things with clients, with life, with employees, so everything. But that's a good point, because that'll get you out of bed. That'll rise and fall of the expectations, like relationships will flounder. What do you think about expectations? I guess I have nothing bad to say about Zero because they've exceeded my expectations in a lot of ways.
And a big thing is it's intuitive for your clients to learn. So it's a lot harder to mess up a Zero file than it is to mess up a QuickBooks file, for instance. Like, you can really screw up a QuickBooks file.
Oh, QuickBooks is, if we're going to go there, QuickBooks is abuser friendly. It's too user friendly.
I love that abuser friendly. So, I've never met a client who has switched from QuickBooks that wants to go back to QuickBooks after using Zero.
Never. The biggest downside sometimes is they've never heard of it, so they have their own preconceived notions on what it would be. But once they start learning more, they realize, wow, like there's other ways to do this, and this could actually be clean and easy. I just thought I'd be resigned to put up with that stuff. There's a lot of little things in Zero that make it beautiful. They say beautiful accounting software. And I've used that term just to describe zero because it's simple, it's clean, and also I love the color blue. I've got an affinity for the color blue. Beautiful technology. If you heard somebody describe technology as beautiful, what do you think of that?
I think user friendly. Beauty to me means user friendly. Like when people say beautiful, like easy to use, like it's intuitive on the screen. You know how to.
No pun intended. Intuitive.
Exactly.
I know. I use intuitive to describe zero all the time. Yet QuickBooks is into it, and it's the opposite of intuitive. So, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Whatever your vision of beauty is, I feel like zero can fit into that because they're so clean and simple that it makes them more versatile. It's just a feeling. It's like an art. We just had Ron Baker on, and we were talking about the art of business, and I think zero has the art of GL, the art of accounting.
The art of accounting.
The art of accounting.
Go to zero.com.
Go to zero.com. Check them out. Mention the Sons of CPAs. I don't think that's going to matter, but that would be cool.
Just do it. So how do you measure success at your firm?
You know, for me, it's more about getting work done. I mean, obviously success, everybody wants to make money. I can say that we are so efficient that at the end of April last year, we were at $360,000 in revenue with 3 people. And we still didn't work full time. So to me, success, for me personally, right at this point, is my ability to be able to coach softball, spend time with my family, go on my boat.
Perfect. This is awesome. You're the reason we have these 4 KPIs. Like these 4 KPIs fit.
Scott literally cannot let you answer a question.
It's okay.
I know where you're going with it. No, I'm going to lead right into it. You can keep going with this. So one of the KPIs is time off for the owner, because that's an important metric to measure. You know, so Ackerman, how do you want it? Like I've been asking it, but in a very, very roundabout way. Usually I share mine and then the guest will share theirs. So it's 4 KPIs actually, not 3. One of them is top line revenue, which you've said 350.
Well, that was just for 4 months.
That's for 4 months. Oh shit. Okay. So there we go.
We're at about 750. We'll land around 750 for 2021.
Head count, which you've said is 3. You've already given all your KPIs.
I count myself.
So 4.
4. Okay. So 4. And then cash to owner. So
I'm using profit first.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah.
What does that mean?
I know. So that's my next question, because I wanted to actually get into that for you have a relationship with Mike Kalowitz. Like you
Mike's
know
the
him
boy.
personally. I know. This is so awesome to me. Like I have 5 of his books in another room.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. You want to hear how we met?
I do, but we got to get through these.
Yes,
KPIs.
we want to be
at the edge of his seat here. Yes. But we got time off for owner.
This is so good.
I know. I love this.
I feel like
I really want to hear that.
It's like an art installation, and I'm in it.
Oh my goodness.
We'll get to the KPIs.
She set
later.
up how she's going to tell an awesome story, and you said, "Nah, I'm good. I'd rather ask a weird ass question that no one wants to hear." So yeah, go ahead, Scott. Ask the weird ass question.
Cash to owner, Don. What's your percentage? Like, do you? I guess would we measure this profitability percentage, or do we measure it just cash to owner? She does profit first. I know where.
What does profit first mean? Just tell us what profit first means.
So basically, you take this is the way I approach it. I do 5 buckets. So 10 grand comes in on a Monday into the bank account, right? That needs to be allocated percentage wise between various aspects of the business. Number 1, obviously operating. So you've got to have certain amount of operating expense funding available. Debt, if you have debt. So usually I still keep a debt account just in case. I have a profit account, which is an owner pay account. So that's money I get. That's regardless of my payroll. Then I have a payroll account. That's for payroll only. And then I have a taxes account. So I have those 5 buckets, and I say, okay, when 10 grand comes in, I split it this way. 50% goes to payroll because we're 50% payroll. 20% is for operating. I do 10% for debt, 10% for owner, and 15% for taxes.
You need to get in bed with Relay. You need to get in bed with Relay. Does this?
You don't need to get in bed with anybody.
All right.
I know we were
other
talking
than your
about
husband.
I know. You know what my husband always says, Jason? He doesn't care who warms up the car as long as he gets to drive. And you can use that.
I don't think my wife feels that way about me, but I do like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I like
It's
that.
not a bad
I
thing.
like that one.
So then your profit is 10%, but then are you also paying yourself too?
I'm
Are
on
you part of
payroll.
payroll?
Yeah. I'm a C Corp. I decided to be a C Corp, obviously at 21%. I kind of like that. I don't think about the dividend part of it. Not worried about that. So yeah, 10% goes to owner's pay, which is above and beyond my regular payroll, which is nice. And it accumulates pretty good. You do
Does that mean, do you even take
360,000.
dividend parts? Yeah, no. Do you
No.
even take dividends?
Not currently.
Okay. Cool.
No.
So what did you pay yourself last year?
150,000.
Okay.
So you made 225.
Yeah.
And you were at, so let's see what
that is actually like a perfect.
So that's 30%, which is pretty
almost
solid.
Perfect. Yeah. That is so awesome.
So
and it's such an easy methodology. Like I had a call with a client last week. He was going to owe $500,000 in taxes. Sucker, he sucked out $1.2 million of draws out of his S Corp last year.
Yikes.
Right? Distribution.
Yikes.
And he paid himself $400,000. So it's not like, he's paying himself, but I'm like, dude, you have no money left. You sucked it all out. How are you going to pay your taxes? So I'm like, dude, you got to at least start with profit first. At least start with a tax account so that you can start putting 10% of your gross income into a tax account.
Well, at that level, they can't even over withhold. Like that was always my thing with profit first. Is our clients were at a level where you can just over withhold, and that became part of the profit first methodology for them. Was
exactly
take a bunch out of your check. Basically, you don't get a check, you take your salary, and then your taxes should be covered.
Yep.
That was the account. The account was with the IRS, but you can't do that if you're making that much. Like you got to do some kind of
Yeah, he's a wreck. Go ahead, Jason.
So are you happy? You did 750. You're 30% owner.
Sounds like you're happy.
Is that where you want to be? What's kind of your future goal for your firm?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So of course I want to set myself up for success for succession planning, right? So I'm figuring 9 more years and then I'm done with the actual practice. And so that's part of the reason why a tech stack's so important, because I could say to you, Jason, hey, you want to buy my firm? Okay, well, guess what? Here's the key. It's a password. And you can get into everything, and everything's there. There's systems in place. There's a procedure book that you can or can't follow, don't care, but you're not going to come to my office. So
you're making yourself, attractive to people who either want to buy you, or if there's someone internally that wants to buy it, like you're basically setting something up for you to get a good multiple on your return when you go to sell.
Exactly.
And you like you kind of have a date, like, okay, 9 years. So like you got to start thinking about selling it 7-8 years from now, because you might need some transition time. So you're really thinking about that, which most firms don't think about.
Listen, I'm 51. I'll just put it out there. I'll be 60 years old. My dad, my goal was always 55. That's when my dad retired. He got a golden handshake from Pratt Whitney. So he was retired at 55. So that's always been my goal, is to do what my dad did. So I was going to retire at 55. I know it's going to take me a little bit longer. We chose to have my husband take care of kids when they were younger. We didn't really grow money in the first 10, 15 years of our marriage. We just sustained, right? We were surviving for various reasons. So now that I'm just cranking it, I'm just like, I got 9 more years in me. Let's build up a nice nest egg, plus sell it. And then I've got all my speaking stuff that I have. I can make a pretty good amount of money doing that.
That's like icing, right? Like maybe you didn't build up a lot of wealth, but you build up a lot of social equity to be able to do the speaking stuff. And you build up like a following.
Yeah.
To be able to write a book, to, do the things that you want to do, and the things that you love. And I think that it sounds like you love owning a firm too, and doing this stuff. Yeah.
I love tax work. Mostly love IRS representation. Give me a good agent to battle against, I'm in. And like, I think that
the competitive nature, right? Yeah.
It's so fun. Back when you used to be able to sit in front of an agent, we're the best. I remember this one guy, I was representing this couple who just decided to cut $300,000 off of their gross income because they needed to save the tax money in case they ever needed it. Yeah. Okay.
Smart.
That makes a lot of sense, right? Totally good strategy. Nice work. So they get audited, and the attorney calls me, Brolin, I need you to keep this in the same year. You can't have them open up New Year's. That's your goal. Cannot open up New Year's. No problem. I got you. I get down and sit in front of the agent, and I'm like, he's still using baby shampoo. He's so young, right? He's not growing a beard. He's all wet back here. And I'm like, oh my God, I own this kid. I already own him. I already know it. So went in there, went through some stuff, and it was literally an even 300 grand. And that was the only problem. So he goes away.
It's like you going into a boxing match, like you're all ready, and like you see this guy, like,
oh, Jack, I'm just gonna pop you one time.
Yeah.
So he ends up going away for some training, and he's like, "Did you find the 300 grand?" And we're emailing or maybe he was calling and faxing. I don't even know. Ended up on the phone with him, but I'm like, "Dude, I can't figure this for the life of me. I've gone through this 100 times. I can't find it." I said, "You know what? Just bill these people. I'll make them pay the tax, and we'll all move on." And he was like, "Okay." And then we get an accuracy penalty for like 20 grand. And I said, "Dude, that's not their fault. Their accountant didn't add stuff right. You can't penalize them for that." And he's like, "All right, yeah, we'll take that off too."
Really?
I was
so
like,
you were able to use the accountant as a reason?
Oh, always.
Wow,
that guy's going under the bus hard.
So usually they have a
Unless it was
default
you.
response to that. Usually the IRS has a default. No, my dad tried to do that with me. He tried to say his accountant messed something up because he messed something up. He used me as the example, and they sent him back a notice saying he couldn't do it. My dad, the CPA,
your dad should have used
Should
somebody
have called
else.
me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I forgot what it was.
Should've
Though.
called
It was
Brolin.
like it was like a.
I feel like this is a commercial, and it's like Scott's dad, CPA, is like, "Hey, I can't figure this out. Let's call Brolin." And you're like swooping it, you're like Tarzan on like
I come in hard.
like Superman,
I don't even
like
remember
the
the
Superman,
details.
And
Superwoman.
I
Wonder
just
Woman.
blast people away.
Hey,
I'm just
And you see the IRS agent, and you see as the baby shampoo, and you're like, "I fucking got this guy. This
put it
fucking
back in
idiot."
the bathtub. Put it back in there.
That's
It's great to
like
curse. You can't curse in front of a
making.
baby. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
I
it's
did,
so great.
I did miss the cursing.
Wait, you can't curse in front of a baby?
I want to hear. You're not supposed to. At least in the
my
NICU.
gosh,
Wait till you
yeah,
go home. In the hospital,
Yeah.
you want to kind of keep it
And
cool
then
for
it's
the
the
nurses.
shut the F up and you can do what you want.
Okay, I
So,
want to hear this story. How you met
Profit
this?
First Professionals, right? Does it start there
No,
or does
Scott,
it start before
stop
that?
talking. I want to hear how she met the guy from
Mike
Profit.
She knows what I'm
Calowitz?
talking about. She
Okay.
knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So Mikey, so I get a phone call from Intuit, I think. And they're like, "Hey, MSNBC is looking for somebody to come on the show, QuickBooks expert. We want to have you go do this episode." I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'll do anything. So I went down, it was kind of close. It's about 45 minutes from here in this little business. And I walk on the set and the producer comes out and I meet him, Frank. He's a great dude. Comes out, we chat. And he's like, "All right, well, the host is over here." And I'm like, "Cool." So we walk up. He's like, "Mike McCallis, this is Dawn Brolin, blah, blah, blah. You guys are going to be doing this together." Of course, we did do a couple of bridesmaid scenes in the basement. We did, walk through a couple of those because everyone thinks I look like Melissa McCarthy, which is fine. It's
Okay,
totally
I
cool.
wasn't gonna say it, but it's true.
It's so true.
Yes. I never even
Yeah.
noticed it till you said it. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Melissa McCarthy, that bitch. See how much money she's made on my ideas? I came up with the boss. I came up with when she took her kid back to college. I had all. So here's what I'm going to mark my words right here. She
So
is gonna
great
come up-
minds think alike, right? Like I think
Yes.
that's obviously like you're onto something if other people are doing the shit that you've come up with. I think
It's true. And I'm telling you
felt
what
it that
she's,
way.
this is what's coming next. And mark my words, stepsisters. That bitch is going to make money because Step Brothers was so funny.
Oh,
She's
going to
do Stepsisters.
Yes.
She's going to do it.
Yes.
I already know it. And she's going to make
do
all
it.
that money and she's not even
So
going to
why
invite
don't
me
you
in.
do like a parody of it before it comes out and be like do a parody commercial for Stepsisters and you can be the Melissa McCarthy,
Oh my God, I should do that. I'll talk to
yeah.
Gaynor about that. We will make a video.
Do it before she does it, and then have somebody else, have Gaynor be like the Gwyneth Paltrow or something, or that, and then you two could be stepsisters. That shit would be funny as hell.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. So Jason, on to the story. So I go up and I meet Mike, and I looked at him, and I was like, "So when do we make out?" That's all I said to him. Like, Mike, when do we make out? Like, when does that happen? And he just, that was it. Brother and sister from that moment forward. And he and I, oh my God. So I did go to a book. He did like his book training, how to write a book down in Florida.
Did you make out?
We didn't make out. No, but I kicked his ass in pinball. He is not a good pinball player. He likes to claim it, but he's not. I mean, I bust on him all the time.
He probably
Anyway, so
enjoys pinball, but he's not good at it.
Yeah. And that's how I met Mike McCallis. And he and I have been like brother and sister since that moment. We are buddies.
Yeah.
He's a great dude. He's a good person. He really cares about people. So yeah, that's how I met Mike.
You can hear that in his
guy.
voice. I used to listen to well, I say used to, I still listen to it sometimes. The Grow My Accounting Practice.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been on there several times, but it's like,
I think once.
that was one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. And that was
Oh.
inspiration, obviously, for us to eventually do this.
Yeah,
definitely was my
absolutely.
inspiration to do this. Like those
That's
two guys,
awesome.
and then hearing us, like it's kind of fun. So
Jason,
I don't know. I want to have him
laughing.
on as a guest. Like we got to get him on as a guest.
Oh.
I think
That would
Don.
be
I
so
think
awesome.
Don could totally. I think Don should come on every podcast.
I would love
Dawn
it.
is
Don
she
gets
is
me,
yeah.
and that's what I like.
I love
Don
it, Jason.
understands.
Oh,
Don
I
understands what's
totally
going on.
get you. You can't. There's not
think
much
I don't
you can
get you?
past me.
You don't get me at all.
He
I
wants to
get
get
you.
you. He wants to
Yeah.
get you. All right.
Exactly.
Straight man.
Yes.
Ackerman's the straight man. That's what we've got here.
You're
No.
Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. So what are you doing to prepare yourself for this 9 years from now? Like what do you see that you need to do so you can get the highest price in 9 years? What's your goal?
Definitely make sure I continue increasing my prices every year. That's key because, making $750 this year, I don't want to do the same work and make the same money. I need to make more money. And of course I'm very sensitive to the whole inflation situation that we're in right now. So I don't want to hurt the clients that I have, but at the same time, the work that we do and the on-demand that we are under on a regular basis, there's no reason people shouldn't increase their prices every year. That's just and I'm not saying, jack it up $500, but start to creep. If you're not creeping yet, you better start being creeping. Like it's
Sorry.
time
So how
to
much are
creep.
you going up?
For somebody that hasn't done that, I suggest a 20% increase to start at least.
Yeah.
Across
no,
the
I
board,
agree.
at
Well, so
least.
that's like for me. So we're, if I'm doing a $400, let's say $435, let's do 400 to be easy. We're going up $80. Like that's about a fair increase. And I haven't increased in a couple of years. I haven't increased my fees, and representation's definitely going up because that's what I'm really good at. Like I know I've had 2 clients so far go to jail, all on their own accord. Not my clients. They were referrals. Okay. Let's get that straight.
Mhm.
But I mean, all the other resolution work that I've done, I've been able to get people out of it because I think it's not only you being smart, it's also being strategic and having a certain personality that can work with these agents. And it's like, I'm going to be their best friend until they become not my best friend. And so, in the first phone call, second phone call, whether you've got somebody that you can't push or someone that you can.
So how do you price the IRS representation engagements?
All by the hour, because you never know. It's kind of like you buy a house and you go to rehab it. You open up the wall, you have no idea what's inside of it. And IRS representation is that way because you just don't know what they have for information, what they don't have, what kind of.
So how much are
agent
you
you're gonna get.
charging per hour?
$375, but I'm going to $400 this year.
That is so refreshing.
You
to
should
hear.
be at like 900
I should be at 1,000.
at least.
Well, no,
if you
that's
went-
just refreshing to hear, like that you are charging hourly for some stuff, but fixed fees for others, like that hybrid model. And I'm saying that out loud because Ackerman has said to me all last year, you're tracking time of your people, but you're not billing by the hour. You'll eventually bill by the hour. I think I will for some things. I think we're going to have a hybrid model.
Scott's actually regressing. He's like Benjamin Button. Like
I don't think I'm regressing.
He's
I
going to
think
be
I'm gonna
wearing a
become more
top
profitable.
hat. He's going to be wearing a top
No,
hat.
it's
in
really
about 2
hard to
years.
price that stuff up front. Like that's the kind of thing that is so hard to price up front. If you don't know the scope and it could be endless.
Yeah.
You can't just charge too much. You can't charge 10 grand for something that it might not be that much, like it's not fair to the client too.
I always take a retainer up front, depending on what type of case. It's always a minimum of $2,500. It's never less than that. It's a minimum of $2,500. Some cases, if it's a criminal case, it's 10 grand right off the rip. And then once they get within like $2,000, I'm like, I need another 10 grand. If I know
because
that's happening.
if they're in a criminal case, I mean, they're going to pay whatever because that's like very.
We've
serious.
gotten a couple of people out of criminal issues. We did one job, it was a $125,000 job. This was back when I had 10 people working for us, but I had like 3 people on this one job. And it really wasn't criminal at all. Sometimes what you're representing somebody that's criminal investigation and they're guilty. Like you just know it. You're like, yeah, you jacked that up, man. Like, hello. And then those that are, they can't, you just can tell that the number one, I had this one with 125 grand. He had loans that he took. We had loan documents and the accountant counted his income. Here's where there's an issue. He charged $1,200 a month. Guy had 21 entities and $1,200 a year, $100 a month per entity, and did the books for all these entities. And it was just all wrong. I mean, all wrong.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. And we were like, dude, we will be here. I'm like, you got to pay me every week. Take a retainer up front, but then you got to pay me every single week. The day you don't pay me, my work ends. And that's the deal. And we were just very upfront about it. And that's how you got to be. But yeah, you got to charge by the hour for some of that stuff. You just don't know. Yeah. What do you guys charge for calling the IRS? If you got to call those freaking people.
Shit. All we do is usually put $500. Usually people are paying us an audit protection or something like that, and then we'll just do it. But we're not doing a whole lot of it. Like, at least with us, we don't do that much representation because we just don't see it come up enough. People aren't seeking us out for that either. And I think that's, you've made a name for yourself. That's like your vertical. That's your niche.
Yeah. I love it.
The IRS representation. So you're putting ads out for that, I'm sure, some way, you're, So,
well, and other practitioners, that's one of the things I tell people. They're like, well, how do I market? How are you doing this? And I'm like, well, number one, I connected with tax attorneys and other CPAs, other certified forensic accountants, certified fraud examiners. A lot of times these jobs are too big, or there's a specialty. Like, I just know QuickBooks, right? So there's some CFEs and CFAs who just don't even know how to get the reports out or how to do much of anything in QuickBooks. So they look to me and I'm like, no problem. Still the same rate, man. Just because I'm not, writing an opinion letter or doing something else.
You got a fixed fee.
It's $3.75 an hour, people. I don't care if I'm reconciling a bank account or I'm, solving global
soon to
warming.
Be 400. Soon to be 400.
Yep.
I like that.
You just got to be, and I just found for me, I had to figure out what I love to do. And I did bookkeeping, payroll, sales tax. Oh, gross. This stuff is gross. To me.
Oh, well, we still do it. Yeah.
I
like doing
the
that.
cringe.
Though.
Oh, you see, but that's okay. I'm not saying like it's a belittling service. What I'm saying is,
it's just not your thing. Just not your thing.
It's just not my thing. I love to solve the problem. Like, I feel like I'm an accounting cop. Like, I'm doing instead of blood spatter, I'm dealing with number splatter. And I'm solving crimes.
Have you worked this one out? Yeah, this is a good one. I like this.
This is a Melissa McCarthy movie right here.
Yes.
Dude, I have
number splatter.
Number splatter. I have a bulletproof.
I see Dawn working at Flowcast Studios making a new show.
I could see you walking into you walk into like a room and there's just numbers everywhere and you're like, oh, fuck.
We got this.
Beep. This is bad, but I'm gonna handle this.
So it's been said that
Roll
I'm like a toddler. I like
it.
Numbers and colors. Dawn, do you find yourself attracted to colors and numbers and letters and acronyms and things?
Absolutely. Give me a good acronym. I mean,
oh,
absolutely. It's like SLU, starting lineup. Hello.
I know you got it. Like, I can tell. I can see it. I pay attention to these details.
I do not mess. But no, it's number splatter. And so I bought a bulletproof vest.
That's awesome.
So
hell yeah.
Oh, totally.
You own one, so you're already on it.
I think
is it because you need it, or you just like it makes you feel like you get into the role?
Oh, as soon as I get a new criminal case or a civil case, that thing goes on. And I'm like locked and loaded and ready to go. Like I black every once in a while.
That's why I'm going to get a diamond chain, Ackerman. That's why I'm getting a chain, because you play the role. It's a different role.
What's the role? Pimp boss?
Yeah, like
not pimp boss. No. It's part of the culture to me. Like that's just, it plays a part, right? I'm going to get a lab coat too.
Oh,
you got your bulletproof vest.
Lab coat with a diamond
chain. So it's like a Rick and Morty type and Lil Baby or Lil Wayne type, like a mix of the two. Like a hybrid, so like a scientist and a rapper. Yeah, that's an entertainer, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, we usually use the gold chain for when we hit home runs. That's usually when the gold chains come into play for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used it a lot last season, so hopefully we use it a little more this year.
This is fantastic.
Well, it's you guys. A lot of softball and baseball players do have a chain, of some sort, right?
We do. We got it. A chain. Oh, this is a good one, Jason. You'll love this one, right? So I'm all about you got to be creative. So my job on the team is the designated motivator. That's my job. I identified as that. They, when I started volunteering, they were like, "Oh, volunteer coach," and I'm like, "Bullshit! I'm a designated motivator." Like, I just made up my own name. That's where that whole thing came from. So this past year, I always do something really wacky, crazy. Throughout the whole season, COVID hit. I put on a hazmat suit, like, just whatever it is to make light of it, right? So this year, I bought a body bag. So I bought a
Wow.
body bag and we hung it in the dugout. And every time we crushed another team, we taped their lineup to the body bag, like they were dead to us at that point.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is
You,
this
I mean,
is good
I would
stuff.
do
Don,
like
my
I would
mind's
run
racing
through a
whenever I
wall.
see your stuff.
I'm ready
yeah.
to go. Okay, we got to wrap this up. Let's do it. So the last one we
I
didn't get
feel
to.
like we're just getting started. Yeah, no, I gotta
I'll
go.
come back anytime.
That's awesome.
You guys are
This is
great.
amazing. You might be the new co-host. Scott
Dude.
might be in that body badge soon.
If you,
Oh,
that's Scotty in the body bag.
oh, Scotty the body bag. I like that. Actually.
Oh,
That's pretty
you'll
funny.
be
Okay,
fine.
so the last KPI that Scott alluded to was time off.
Yes.
So and it sounds like you have a good work-life balance. So how do you make sure that you look at this? Showing the
How
book.
do you have time to write a book, right?
So tell us kind of how
Yeah.
you've made sure that you keep your life balanced.
Yeah, 2018, I actually was able to get in the dugout. I played softball at the local university. The head coach was a former player, like ball player, my teammate, and we won a national championship in 1990. So, you know, she'd been coaching there for about 14 years at that point, and we were just like, we got to bring this championship mindset back to like, we got to get this together. What's the problem? So she said, hey, you want to coach with me? And I was like, you know, it's tax season, right? Like, I can't take tax season off. And then I slept on it for like a week and I said, you know what? Screw this. No one, I don't have a boss. I'm the boss. I can do what I want to do. And I said, I'm going to go do that. And so I decided to coach. You know, we have practice at 3:00, 4 nights a week. Usually on Mondays off, but the rest of the week, or we have games, we have away games. We go to Florida for spring training. We do all this stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. And if it means I have to work a little bit more, I'll do it because I get to have this life. If I,
design your life. That's a
design
good
your
book
life.
I read recently. Design your life, and you
Yeah.
create your own constraints when you do that. And
That's
you
right.
create your constraints to be able to do the client work when you can, but you're not going to take on too much because you know you got other responsibilities.
Well, you know, it's the whole mindset of, I know if I have to go to, we have practice at 3:00. I'm in this office by 8, sometimes 9, lately been 10. I like to have my time in the morning. And so I get in here and I don't open my email. That's not the first thing I do. You know what I do? I go and look in Carbon to see what tax returns are ready to go. Because Tracy makes sure everything's there before I even get started. And I said, my focus, my job is to accomplish these tax returns, and I have till 3. And so I laser focus on those returns because 9 times out of 10, I don't want to come back to the office after practice. You know, now it's 5:30, 6:00. I want to go have dinner, Monday night football, Thursday night football. We don't have that in the spring, but whatever I want to do doesn't matter. And so I just made a decision. And then I really laser focus. That's the key, is the distractions that are around you all the time. Cell phones, emails, phone calls, people walking in the office. I shut the door and I'm like, nobody bother me for 6 hours. I'll get to you later. And that was a game changer for me. And I don't miss anything. I don't.
You don't miss a beat.
That's
yeah.
amazing. Dawn,
You got a lot of attention.
Melissa
to detail,
McCarthy
too.
Brolin, this
Yeah,
has been fantastic.
It's so good
Don,
to
I
meet
love
you.
your
Jason.
energy and I love your charisma. You've got a lot of it, and it's no irony that Gainer's like business is Charisma Inc. and you've got the charisma.
Yeah, she's got the
She
ink.
does
I don't
too,
have
but
that.
Yeah, she's
I
got
don't.
the ink. Yeah,
She's got that
you
thing
guys would
down
make
nailed.
good stepsisters. That would be so cool.
Oh my! I would roll over Gator. That poor thing. She would.
But that's the point. That's the point of
That's so
stepsisters.
great.
Like you got to have a
Yes.
straight person, and you got to have a fun one. Melissa McCarthy, and like take a look at her. Oh man, this is.
You
is
said
right
Gwyneth
itself.
Paltrow, which was a very interesting combo. I don't know if that would work, but I like it.
Why not? Why not?
Hey,
She's
I would
funny.
love to. I would love to be on a show with Sandra Bullock. I think she's freaking funny.
Yeah.
See, there we go. Now that
Right.
makes
Sandra
a lot more
Bullock.
sense.
You think Gaynor would be? I don't know her as well as you do. Would she be a Sandra Bullock, or would she be? What would her part be?
Gainer's pretty laid back and under control, so I'm not so sure.
Gwyneth Paltrow, or like a Katherine Heigl, or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
like
Gainer's
a
awesome.
Heigl, yeah.
You know,
without her.
those
Go ahead.
What were you
he's
gonna say? Yeah.
just naming people from like the 90s that they're like not relevant anymore.
They're not-
So who would be the relevant one that you would
Catherine
say?
Heigl
I'm just
hasn't
trying to
been
make
in
somebody.
anything since Friends or whatever that movie 90.
What, she was in Knocked Up? I'm thinking about that.
Knocked Up was like 2001.
okay,
Oh, such a good
whatever,
movie.
Whatever.
Such
it
a
was
She's
good
great
movie.
though. I love her.
It was great. Yeah.
So good.
I think she would be really good in it. I don't know. I mean, you
We'll
don't
work
know
on
Gaynor
casting.
like
We'll
I
work on
do,
casting
all
in
right?
our,
Yeah.
our other podcasts.
And when we
Gaynor's
talk-
Don's
101.
partner in crime.
When we talk next time, I'll tell you all about the movie that I'm going to be in.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Because
It's already
it hasn't been written yet.
award.
Is it already?
Already done. It's already
Well,
been.
Dawn, no, share where people can find you. And
Yes.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Not the movie, you.
Yeah, me. So DawnBrolin.com, just kind of everything about my world is there. And then obviously on Twitter at Dawn Brolin, I'm there. LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't post too much on Facebook, honestly, which can be good or bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
You probably shouldn't, but yeah. I mean, if you post on Twitter, you can link up to this podcast. We don't have a Twitter account though. Should we have a Twitter account for this? I just have my own. Yeah.
Well, because you know what? Here's how. This is the way I've positioned myself. I've got the DawnBrolin.com, designated motivator, all that stuff that I want to be able to help people forever. Like that's not
central. That's
right.
your hub.
That's the hub there. But Powerful Accounting has its own website, is its own thing. And I want that to be totally separate. So it has its own social media and stuff like that, but not really pump it up too much because I get referrals from.
How could you be everywhere at once, right? Like
how could you? But really, I want the designated motivator community to be able to help people forever. Like that's something that I hope that I could teach other people how to be designated motivators, and then they can be the designated motivator, and I'll float off into the ocean. With
I love it.
Yacht.
Well, that's the yacht. That's the intent of the book, right? So designated motivator for accountants, maybe a designated motivator for attorneys, a designated motivator for paralegal. No, that's the same thing.
Well, but still, designated motivator for college students,
for plumbers,
moms, dads.
Shops.
I mean, sex shops, whatever you want, But it's really just about helping people and helping them find their inner best. And that was what happened in that 2019 softball season. Was that these kids were 500 the year before? There was 500 was there, like they were just 50-50. And they were like, what's our goal this year? Oh, well, if we could just get over 50%, we get to 60%. And I'm like, oh God, no. Okay, this is a technical foul. Like, I'm going to throw some of you out of the game right now. Like, we're either going for it or we're not. And they ended up third in the nation. And it wasn't because of me. It was because of someone who believed in them and brought out everything good about who they were and who they are as people. Right? You got to go. So
I got to go.
Anyway,
I love this. I don't want to interrupt it. Yeah.
That's what this book is about. And that's
Dawn,
what we want to do.
You're
for
the best.
People. Well, you guys
you're way better than us. You're way better than us. You're like 7 levels above this podcast, but we appreciate you taking the elevator down to visit us.
Dude, you guys are freaking awesome. Are you kidding me? This was the most fun. I think even better than Mike.
500 sounds great.
Shit,
we're trying to bat 150. We'll take 150 and get a home run every once in a while.
That's fun.
Get on base every time. Every time.
I'm gonna follow you on Twitter, Dawn. I don't follow too many people. I don't even have any followers right now. But
I'll go follow you.
That's just you were posting ways for 2 years straight.
I know.
People are like unfriend, unfollow.
We're gonna end on that. Thank you, Dawn.
Dawn,
thanks, you guys.
You've been
awesome.
amazing.